I'm back. Finally. I'm not 100% better, but I feel well enough to be able to record. And I want to thank all of you for your understanding and kind words in the comments. If I remember correctly, Takeru and Kazuki are here to confront Valkyrie in order to save Kurusu. Although I don't think they have a choice, they either try and get killed or to not try and Kurusu gets killed. This is not going to end well. The door was open wide and I could see many homeless people inside. I hadn't seen this many people together for days. There were hundreds of them. Some were sleeping on beds made of cardboard, and others were enjoying a lunchtime banquet of drinks and snacks. All the voices overlapped into a chaotic spiral of noise. I felt strangely at home. Kazuki and I looked at each other.
これだけの数の人がいれば十分だろう。準備はいい。
We had less than 50 minutes until noon.
やれ。
Kazuki took a deep breath.
超強い力士シール
and screamed into the Hikari bow.
超強い力士シール
Again.
超強い力士シール
And again.
超強い力士シール
All the people gathered at Hikari were staring in shock at this teenage girl who had shown up out of nowhere and started shouting nonsense at them. All the noise in the entrance hall faded into dead silence.
超強い力士シール
Kazuki's voice was the only thing you could hear.
超強い力士シール
It sounded like some kind of a gag. She only screamed the one phrase. Her goal was to imprint it as deeply as she could into the minds of the people here. That was the best plan we could come up with in the short amount of time we had. There might have been a better way, but as exhausted and stressed out as we were, it didn't seem likely that we'd be able to come up with it. And again, it's not a bad plan per se, it's better than nothing. Of course, I didn't expect this plan to work, it was barely even a plan at all. But even so, since Kazuki's power couldn't be controlled, there was no telling what exactly it could do. The possibilities were infinite. Are they going by the logic of the more powerful you are as a gigalomaniac, the more affected you are by those stickers? The same way it had created those portal devices all around Shibuya and the monsters that came with them. Maybe it would do something we didn't expect. My hope was that it would create the sumo stickers stronger than all the ones in Shibuya combined. At this point, it was all luck. I had no idea what would happen. Maybe nothing would. There wasn't much time left at all until noon. These last 10 minutes were all we had left. All we could hope for was that something would appear that would help us fight Valkyrie. There was barely anything I could do, except maybe staying here with Kazuki.
超強い力士シール
She sounds like me when I tried to record last week. It's unrelated, that CG image or that run image of the Igario building. It looks really cool, I really like that image. Kazuki must have hurt her throat from screaming so much. She suddenly started to cough and heave. But she kept yelling.
超強い力士シール超強い力士シール超強い力士シール
時間だ。
Kazuki gasped and fell silent.
で
ももういいんだ。
Nothing had happened yet. Nothing happened. That was the reality. It just wasn't enough time for Kazuki's power to create something.
カズキはよくやったよ。
We had lost our chance to fight back. And at this rate, we wouldn't be able to save Kurusu either. My regret threatened to overwhelm me, but I couldn't run away now. I had to go. I told myself that I couldn't stop here.
ごめんなカズキ。僕を助けたばっかりにこんなことになって。
一緒に。
Kazuki whispered and softly took my hand. I grabbed her hand back. My warmth made me feel just a little better. The only good thing about this was that Kazuki said she'd stay with me until the end. Otherwise, I might have been too scared to go. Now look up. Go to Akui. That's your last chance to save Kurusu. I still don't know what kind of gigalomaniac Kurusu is. The homeless men are still looking at us in shock. I love that shot of that building. We ignored them and headed for the elevators, still holding each other's hands. The theater cube was on the 11th floor of the Hikario. The entrance hall was called the Sky Lobby, and there was no glass observation deck. You could look out and see Shibuya from there. Even at this height, I could see how empty the town was. It was like time itself had stopped.
おーい、君たち、時間ギリギリだよ。
Oh, that is just one foreboding image. I would have used this as a thumbnail, but you know me, I try to have my thumbnails at least spoilery as possible. Personally, I hate getting spoiled by YouTube, either in the thumbnail or the title, so I hope at least I try not to. The entrance was empty, except for Wakui. He spoke like he was still our teacher, and we were still his students. It pissed me off. He was a bag of shit, wearing the skin of a teacher. I hated myself for not seeing it sooner. Well, I called it. The way back then that I noticed was because his way of trying to communicate with the newspaper club as students, it just felt off, like He didn't know how to behave properly. It didn't feel natural. There was a single chair next to him. Kurusu was sitting in it.
クルス、
There's no telling what he might have done to her. He didn't respond. He wasn't tied down or restrained in any way. She was sitting up straight, her posture excellent, with her hands on her lap. Her expression was lifeless. Her eyes were open, but there was no sparkle in them. He couldn't have.
クルスに何をした？
Well, Takumi did mention last time that Makuri was a true giggle maniac like him. So, those are a lot more powerful than the new giggly maniacs, who only have one or two powers.
別に大したことはしてないんだけどね。ちょっとばかり過去の傷をえぐってあげたぐらいだよ。
お前、
体を傷つけたりはしていないんだ。ちょっとおとなしくなってもらっただけさ。非難されても困るな。
I don't think, even when looking at Kale's head, I don't think it was ever about hurting people physically. Most brutal attacks were always psychologically. My vision turned red with rage. I was overtaken with the impulse to punch him in the face. That's what he wants, probably. Well, not punch in the face, but rather he's trying to pile up your emotions so that you would make a mistake. Kazuki gripped my hand tighter. Our eyes met. She said nothing, but she sadly shook her head. I thought I could tell what she was trying to say. Don't resist. He had come here to be killed. We would turn ourselves over to Akri in exchange for Kurusu. We had run out of ideas. Kazuki's words hadn't worked. Our last hope was to do whatever Akri wanted. I gripped my fist tightly and swallowed my anger.
クルスを解放してください。僕らは抵抗する気はありません。
あ、そうなの？
The only hope I have left is that Akri seems very overconfident, arrogant even. So he might underestimate us. I hope. Akri chuckled and put his hand on Kurusu's shoulder in a friendly way. It was almost enough to bring the anger back.
その割にはさっき下で何かやってたみたいだけど。
Shit, he had found out. Kazuki couldn't speak. I had to come up with something.
でも結局何も起きなかったんですよ。だから全部諦めてここに来たんです。あれぐらい見逃してくださいよ。あなたの方が圧倒的に立場上じゃないですか。殺すなら殺してもいいですから。でもせめてクルスだけは助けてほしいんです。それぐらいのお願いは聞いてくれてもいいでしょ。
宮代くんはそんなに死にたいのかい？
I gulped.
昨日みたいなことをされるぐらいなら死んだ方がマシです。そうしたら楽になれるから。
I spoke honestly.
そっか、なるほどね。委員会からの指示ではね、君たちを殺せとは言われていないんだ。いや失礼、言い方が正しくないな。和樹くんについては殺すなと言われているんだ。 君は貴重なサンプルなんでね。宮代くんについては正直どっちでもよかったりする。彼女からは殺してもいいという許可はもらったわけだから、僕の気分次第という感じかな。
So he's just going to offhand mention that Serika was behind all of this? Or not this? The return of the New Generation Madness murders?
は？
Who was she? What did he mean? It was up to him?
とりあえず宮代くんのことは後で考えるとして。
He laughed mockingly. And took out a sword. That's a weird looking sword, honestly. It's interesting how in this game all the swords are looking extremely different from one another, when the swords in Kale's head looked, at least in the color palette, a lot more similar, but that might just be a difficult choice. And she was so awful, so terrifying, that just seeing it and you want to throw up. It felt like the physical embodiment of what a piece of shit Wakui was.
Kazuki くんに
He put the blade up to Kurusu's neck.
絶望してもらおうかな。
待て！
That wasn't the deal. Instantly, Kazuki shook off my hand. I made Rondi's sword appear. The blade whipped about like a snake, and then hardened into a solid, straight form. She flung it straight at Wakui. It was just a quick snap of the wrist, with no wind-up at all, but it flew so fast that it created shock waves as it traveled. Wakui blocked it with his own blade.
抵抗する気満々じゃないか。先生に嘘はいけないな。嘘をついたのはどの口だい？
Suddenly and inexplicably, Kazuki stuck out their tongue. What was she doing? Oh, I have a really bad feeling. I have the feeling that Wakui is going to make her bite off her own tongue. He looked up towards the ceiling and stuck it out more. He stood up on her tiptoes, her legs shaking like a newborn fawn's, and her hands flapping desperately to keep balanced. It was like she was being pulled upwards by an invisible fishing hook that had pierced right through her tongue.
カズキ、どうした？
Tears formed in the corners of their eyes. Her expression contorted in pain. Her eyes looked to me for help.
子供の頃、親に言われたことはないかい？嘘つきは閻魔様に舌を引っこ抜かれるぞってさ。
I felt someone cold run down my back. I had a very bad feeling.
よせ！
There was no time for me to even reach out my hand. I saw this coming, but still. Oh, ouch. Oh, that was just nasty. And also, when you bite off your own tongue, doesn't that normally mean that people would die or bleed to death? She bit off her own tongue. Blood spluttered everywhere. Robot lost his balance and collapsed.
ああ、カズキ
I ran over and held her in my arms. And does Taco really think that a person who could do this to other people is a person who also would keep his word? Her eyes have rolled into the back of her head, and bubbles were pouring from her mouth as her body spasmed with pain.
What?
But there was no blood around her mouth. So what had I just seen? Confused, I used my fingers to open her mouth. The tongue was still there. It hadn't been severed. I looked around and couldn't see any pieces of it lying on the floor. So it was a delusion then. Rocky was grinning.
自分が舌を噛み切るリアルな幻覚を見せられたらさすがにショックでかいよね。でもこんなのまだまだ序の口だよ。和樹くんには徹底的に壊れてもらわないと。サンプルっていうのはそういうものだからね。
I didn't even feel any rage. There was only powerlessness and despair. There was no point in even trying to fight him. I couldn't save anyone, not Kurusu, not Kazuki, not even myself. Everything was up to Wakui now. All I could do was wait for the moment of my death, like cattle. I hadn't even planned on fighting back when I'd come here anyway. I knew I probably wouldn't be able to save Kurusu. That's right. None of this was unexpected. I would be killed, and I wouldn't be able to do anything about it. There was nothing more to it than that. No matter how much I had to watch Kazuki and Kurusu suffer, they were all going to die anyway. It didn't matter. When she died, the pain went away. I was tired. I just wanted this over with. Maybe I should bite off my own tongue. Oh, please don't.
なんだ？宮代くんも壊れ気味なのかい？こらえしょうがないな。だったらさっきの続きを見せてあげるよ。
Wakui put a blade back to Kurusu's neck.
目をそらしてはいけない。しっかり見ておくこと。ほら。
The sharp blade sliced open the white flesh of her neck. Blood spluttered out like a fountain. I watched it as if in a trance, with his head had slumped forward. Donkey grabbed it and lifted it up, so I could see her face. Her expression was blank. There was no sign of pain, no sign of resistance. That made me feel just a little better. At least, she didn't suffer. Well, that Taku doesn't see Kurusu suffer doesn't mean that Kurusu isn't suffering. Akui's blade was extremely sharp, and it cut through Kurusu's neck like a knife through butter. It didn't seem real at all. It was like watching the death of one of the characters in the game I had played with Kazuki. Akui lifted up Kurusu's head and tossed it away. It landed on the ground in front of me as I lay there, a long hair wrapping around it as it rolled, and realized her head was so small. As I stared at it, someone walked over to me. I looked up. Kurusu's headless body was standing in front of me. The body slowly picked up the head, then went back to the chair. Then I put his hat back on, the same way a person might put on a helmet. A low moan came from his mouth. Kurusu blinked several times and looked at me. What was going on? What kind of nightmare was this? Her head was connected to her body once more. Kurusu saw me and started to cry. What was happening? Why?
2度目は思考を変えてみよ
The second time? What did he mean, the second time? Maki struck the blade up against her neck again. Kurusu's features contorted with terror.
助けてねえ助けてお願い
やめろ
You just died. You just chopped off her head. So why was she asking me for help?
いや死にたくない
You already did. Don't look at me that way.
う。さようなら。
いやいやいやいやいやいや
やめ
She screamed and shook. And I twitched. And her neck was sliced open.
やめろ
Her screams quickly stopped and were replaced by a sound like air from a leaky pipe. I just remembered, at least, people hinting in the previous routes that Taku may be a true Kikalumaniac. As in, since he created Terika. So, that might be a thing. Wakui may think that he has the upper hand because he's the only true Kikalumaniac there, but only if Taku could access his powers. Her head rolled down and landed on the floor with a thud.
やめてくれよ
What was going on here? Why did Kurusu have to get her head cut off twice? Kurusu had nothing to do with this. He hadn't caused any problems for Wakui or the committee.
幻覚だ
This was an illusion. That's right, an illusion. Just a delusion that Wakui was forcing me to experience. Kurusu wasn't killed twice. He was killed once, and the second was just an illusion.
拾いなさい。
Wakui said something strange. Kurusu's body stood up, in answer to his words, and picked up her head again. And she put it back on her body. Was she supposed to be that hero whose head was stuffed with red bean paste? It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny at all. But maybe laughing would have made it easier. My vision blurred. I realized I was crying. I started to hear Kurusu's sobs.
トクル、なんで私生きてるの？今首を切られたはずなのに、なんで？ねえ、答えて、タクル。私なんで涌井先生に殺されてるの
That is one messed up sentence. Just imagine being killed by a person you know, and you don't even know why. I can't imagine how horrible that would be. I felt like I was going to go crazy. I didn't want to see anymore. I wanted everything to go totally black. This was all a delusion. That's what I wanted to believe. When would it end? How many times would Kurusu have to have her head cut off before he had finally let her die? How many times I have to see her head cut off before he had finally let me die? I couldn't take it anymore. I was sick of this. I could just destroy my own mind. Don't do that, that's what Valkyrie wants. And I wouldn't be able to feel anything. I could be at peace until I died. That would be great, wouldn't it? It would be okay, wouldn't it? And suddenly, there was a noise like a trumpet that filled the whole CBS sky.
この音はまさか。
For the first time, Valkyrie's expression changed to one of shock, and he looked directly at the unconscious Kazuki. That's right, the sound was one I'd heard already once before.
まさか。
Kazuki's power, Kazuki's words, Kazuki's delusions. Had one become real? The Superstone Sumo sticker? But if it had, what form was it going to take? If nothing else, I couldn't see anything happening near where we were. Both Valkyrie and I listened carefully. I tried to listen and see if there was anything to be heard but Kurusu's sobs. I looked around desperately, trying to find the Sumo sticker. What was it? What had changed? I heard a faint noise, like a rumble in the distance. It was far smaller than the sound of the trumpet I'd first heard. But the floor began to shake in answer to the sound. It wasn't an earthquake. The tremors were spaced too closely. It was outside. Something was happening outside. Ignoring Kazuki, Kurusu and Valkyrie, I staggered over to the glass window. Maybe it's some giant monster from Isa too. I wanted to see it for myself. What form had Kazuki's last uncontrollable wish taken? In some tiny corner of my crippled heart, I thought to myself that maybe it would be nice if whatever it was destroyed this whole insane world. I realized that I was on the verge of going mad. But even so, I looked outside with a burning hope in my heart. I looked down at the city of Shibuya below, and there, I saw it. I suddenly realized that something was wrong, and I didn't want to admit that it could be real. I thought it might be another illusion of Wakui's, but
なんだありゃ
Wakui had forgotten all about toying with me. I was instead gazing in awe at the unbelievable sight before him. From the look of things, it wasn't something he had created. It was real. This was what Kazuki had created. When I realized this, I was awestruck. I mean, the skill was all wrong. It was holding the cylinder tower of the 107 building like you or I might hold a body pillow. It was shaped like a human. It was pretty pitchy. No, it was obese. The surface of his body was slick and shiny. Whatever it was sweating. It was just what the skin was like, I couldn't tell. It was mostly naked, except for a loincloth around his waist. His black hair was oily and clung tightly to his head. But there was no top knot. His hair was parted perfectly in the center. Strangely enough, his face had 2 mouths, 2 noses, and 3 eyes. Didn't she say super strong sumo sticker? That's quite literal. It was not the face of a human. A sumo sticker. His face was a sumo sticker. The center eye was closed. But the other 2 were fling wide open. And even at this distance, I could see that the giant eyeballs were constantly moving. His mouth was constantly opening and closing. He didn't seem to be eating anything. Whether it was sleepy or thirsty. Maybe he was trying to speak. I couldn't tell. His movements were sluggish and lumbering. It's like a giant monster from a kaiju movie. Yeah, a giant monster. That was the perfect word for it. It was as tall as 107 building after all. Giant sumo sticker man, at least. That was what I decided to call him. I'd been very interested in his feet since the moment I'd first seen him. If I remembered right, there was a portal device over there, and the place was crawling with monsters. Giant sumo sticker man lifted up one of his feet off the ground and flicked it a little. It was covered with monsters clinging to it. From this distance, they looked like tiny little pieces of garbage, but I could still see them. Giant sumo sticker man kept shaking his left leg, but the monsters didn't let go. And then the 2 mouths howled in unison, and it slammed his left leg into the ground. The monsters were knocked off. In fact, he had crushed the portal device itself. Parakinetic had been annihilated while she had touched the device. But evidently, it wasn't capable of handling something the size of the giant sumo sticker man. The horrible portal device that had caused so much pain was crushed beneath the feet of giant sumo sticker man. I started to laugh. This time it wasn't out of resignation. I hadn't gone crazy, faced with the overwhelming size and scale of the sumo sticker man. After all the time I had spent running and being afraid for the past week, it all just seemed kind of stupid.
おいおいおいおいおいなんだよありゃありえないよむちゃくちゃじゃないか
I couldn't understand why Haku was panicking. In the face of something like that, your only options were to laugh, scream, or pretend it didn't exist. Who the hell had dreamed that thing up? Multiple people had to share the same precise image, down to the smallest details. Kazuki's words had become real. Was that what they had taken from super strong sumo sticker? It was a miracle created by astronomical odds. Human imagination would be a scary, scary thing.
Takuru senpai.
Kazuki had woken up and staggered over to me. I quickly grabbed her body to steady her. Her mouth fell open too, when she saw a giant sumo sticker man.
あれって私が。
ああ、きっとそうだ。
だったら
Kazuki closed her eyes tight.
涌井先生をぶっ倒してくれないかな。
What would be just amazing if this worked? As if an answer to her words. Giant sumo sticker man howled once more. And lifted his giant's arms, knocking down the 107 building tower. As the rubble and dust flew up into the air, the giant sumo sticker man looked at us. That's actually terrifying. Did he recognize us? Or maybe Kazuki? Giant sumo sticker man's central eye opened. It was a black pupil and a crimson iris. And the third eye was looking straight at us. When it saw us, a sense of indescribable terror and exhaustion raced through my body. My knees started to shake, and I couldn't even stand. My vision blurred, my ears started to ring, and I felt like I was going to throw up. I imagined every drop of blood in my body freezing. My whole body started to shudder from the cold. It was a million times worse than some stickers I'd seen around the city. What happened to Akui? I forced myself to look through my blurred vision. I was kneeling on the floor and vomiting. It was working. Chance the mistaken man was notifying his power.
Kazuki. Kazuki.
Kazuki had gone pale and was clinging to me tightly. I shook her by the shoulders.
あれに命令しろ。巨大力士シールマンはお前の言うことなら聞いてくれるかもしれない。
Kazuki nodded through the pain. He looked back out at Giant Sumo Sticker Man.
来い。こっちに来い。
Her voice was a hoarse whisper. But he heard it. Giant Sumo Sticker Man unleashed a mighty roar from both of his steel mouths and took a slow, ponderous step forward. His blubber shook as he walked. He traveled the distance between the 107 building and Scramble Crossing in only a few steps. Maybe he could sense Kazuki's thoughts. I had no idea how it worked, and I didn't care. At this point, there was no point in even asking questions. Just go with it. I couldn't get distracted.
来い。
君たち、なんてものを生み出してくれたんだ。あのデタラメな存在は一体なんだ。世界の秩序とか一切無視か。
Valkyrie stood up and slowly moved towards us, shaking and wobbling as he moved. I slipped between him and Kazuki and pushed him away. He couldn't regain his balance and fell flat on his behind.
力が入らない。力士シールの効力なのか。なるほど、そういうことか。あんなものをリアルブートしたのにはそういう理由が。アンチギガロマニアックスの巨人とでも言う気かい。まったくふざけてるな。だが勝ったつもりにならない方がいい。
At almost the exact same moment that Valkyrie readied his T-sword once more, there was a roar from below that shook the whole building. I looked down to see what had happened, and Chainsaw Sticker Man was lying on top of an elevated section of the Yamanote railway line. He must have tripped on it. He grabbed the side of the station building and used it to help himself up, pushing the tracks in the process. And then he moved forward and slammed himself into the side of the Hikari wall. The Hikari wall was struck with the force of hundreds, no thousands of Gunas. Body slams continued, again and again. The building itself began to buckle, and the shockwave sent us to the floor. The glass broke and poured down on us. I felt a cold wind on my skin. When the shaking finally stopped, I looked up to see what had happened to Kazuki and Kurusu. I was relieved to see that they hadn't fallen out of the building or window. But Valkyrie was still alive. He stood up before we had. I was cursing at in rage. That was another huge shock. Valkyrie and the rest of us were knocked away. I was worried that the Garo might break.
君たち悪いけどあれなんとかしてくれないかな。いやいい。やっぱりいいや。先に君たちを殺すから。
Valkyrie didn't even have the energy left to keep up his good teacher act. He readied his D-sword, his face flushed with anger. He attacked us in desperation, even though it was obvious he could barely stand. He was obsessed. But I wasn't ready to give up yet either. We finally had our own trump card, Chainsaw Sticker Man. And I was every bit as obsessed with killing Valkyrie. I grabbed Kazuki's body in my arms and leapt outside through the broken window.
Senpai.
The ground got closer and closer. I was scared. If I hit the ground at this speed, my bones would shatter, my body would be crushed, and I would die in the spray of blood and organs. There was nothing to support me, nothing to grab onto. I couldn't keep my balance in midair. I couldn't tie to Kazuki.
Kazuki, あれにキャッチさせろ。
Kazuki quickly understood and looked around for it. There was no need to look. Chainsaw Sticker Man was right under us, clinging to the Gario building. He twisted his neck to look at us. A huge flabby hand was extended beneath us. and caught us. It was soft, like a cushion. We were still going pretty fast though, so the impact was intense. But at least we were alive. I looked up. I could see his arm, his shoulder, and his giant sumo sticker face. It almost looks like he's smiling. Seen from up close, made me feel even sicker. Part of me wanted to jump off and die, rather than stay here. I closed my ears, gritted my teeth, and did my best to fight the impulse.
Miyashiro! Kazuki!
I could hear Rakui's voice from above. I looked up. I thought that he had jumped out of the building too. But what about Kurusu though? A huge bird, like something out of an encyclopedia of dinosaurs, had flown out of nowhere, and Rakui had grabbed onto his leg. It slid through the air towards us.
あの鳥、円数2に出てくるやつかも。ゲツァルコアトルスって名前。
It was pink, and was completely featherless. I could tell by comparing its size to Rakui's. Its wingspan was over 5 meters long. There was no such bird as that. And even if there were, it wouldn't live in the middle of Tokyo, and even if it did, it wouldn't be taking orders from Rakui. Rakui's delusions had created it. Rakui flew past Giant Sumo Sticker Man, slicing into his shoulder with his D-sword. His two mouths moaned in pain. Instead of blood, my Sumo Sticker spurted out of the wound. The wind carried them across the Shibuya sky. Rakui spun around in mid-air for another attack.
Kazuki?
Then I realized that Kazuki was holding the sides of her temples in pain. Her body was so hot in my arms that I thought I might get burned. She was feeling weak. I wasn't sure if it was because of Rakui's attack, or the fact that she had used her power. Or maybe it was because she was giving orders to Giant Sumo Sticker Man.
無理するな。
I screamed, unable to stand seeing her in that state. But she immediately shook her head and looked at me in desperation. She spoke in words clearly.
あいつ倒そう。チャンス今しかないから。武器を手に入れたんだから使って。
Could I do it? Kazuki grabbed me by the necktie, as if to urge me on. She gritted her teeth and whispered in my ear through the pain.
先輩が指示してください。そしたら戦える。
I could do it. I could fight. In fact, I had a monster at my disposal that was capable of breaking Rakui in two, which meant I would use that power to survive.
わかった。
Kazuki nodded, and Giant Sumo Sticker Man's fingers closed around us. He brought his hand up and set us on his shoulder. It was a little more unstable than his palm, but at least here I wouldn't have to look at his face. Just as I thought. Moving up here made me feel a lot better. Had Kazuki summon her D-sword. plunged it into the giant sumo sticker man's neck, giving it support so that he wouldn't fall off. Buckley was getting closer. It wasn't our club advisor or anything else. The committee of 300 would go to hell. Giant sumo sticker man's arm flew forward. He smashed Valkyrie with an open palm. The same way you would sort of fly. Valkyrie landed hard near Memorial Park. The impact could easily have killed him, but he wasn't normal, so I wasn't going to show any mercy. In a single bound, Giant Sumo Sticker Man covered the distance between here and Memorial Park. He could jump an amazing distance for a fat man. He didn't skip a line. Kazuki and I clung as tightly as we could to the deed sword in order to avoid falling off. He landed hard, crushing the area where Waki had fallen. The impact kicked up rubble and dust around his feet. Did we win? I looked down into the dust. Waki's deed sword flew up through the cloud. It was so fast, there's no time to dodge. Ouch! The sharp blade stabbed into my shoulder. It tore through flesh and bone. The pain was incredible. I felt like I was going to pass out.
Takuru-senpai!
Kazuki held me up. She grabbed my hand and placed it on the deed sword. It was just barely enough to keep me from falling. I bit my lip to get through the pain. I looked in the direction the sword had come from. Hockey was down there, covered in blood, and looking up at us in fury. Like a letter from the spot. A giant sumo sticker man had landed. Giant sumo sticker man flicked Valkyrie away with his foot. Valkyrie's body flew like a ping pong ball. At that point, the fight was over. But I wasn't done yet. What happened? I met a Shibuya Earthquake Memorial, which had survived the impact of the jump. I was sticking out of the ground, near giant sumo sticker man's feet. He reached down and yanked it out of the earth. His eyes looked on Wakui as he flew through the air. Giant Sumo Sticker Man flung back the arm holding the memorial. Kazuki's will and mine felt within the giant sumo wrestler's body. His arm snapped forward. The memorial was flung like a spear. The spear instantly crossed the speed of sound. With a sonic boom, it smashed straight into Wakui and obliterated his body. And that was the end. The detour in my shoulder disappeared in a halo of light. Wakui was dead. He never had a chance. It was a one-sided slaughter. now we have a giant sumo wrestler going berserk in the city. The giant sumo wrestler howled into the open air. He was a destructive monster. He was a brutal giant. We had created something that threatened to destroy the balance of the entire world. I looked up at the Ikakiwo and saw Kurusu waving at us from the shattered sky lobby window.
死ねなかったね、先輩。
For better or for worse, both Kazuki and I had survived. What awaited us now was a hell worse than anything we had gone through so far. We might have brought this terror not only to ourselves, but to the entire world. Nothing about the world would ever be the same, and we'd be left to make our way in it, like lost and frightened children. Even without the Committee of 300's decision, Kazuki and I were enemies of the world for creating such a place. Maybe it would have been better if Aki had killed us. That was that. And then the fact that I had no idea what we were going to do next. And then the fact that my shoulder was still bleeding and hurt like hell, but Kazuki was in my arms, looking relieved and at peace. But at least for this one moment, I could be grateful for the warmth I felt. That's what I thought.
一つの真理だけを求め続けてほしい。それがきっと明日のあがないだと願うから眠りを解かれた新世界の太陽隠されてた雲に手招きする破滅へとたとえどんなに残酷な結末でも真実ならばないはしない君が望むならば運命を見せよう。逃れられない妄想侵食割り出す永遠。今ここに映るすべてが偽善のまやかし偽善者の屍が真の愛に変わるだろう。その時が来たり新世界の態度落とされた深淵に響き渡る叫びから一筋だけの光が差し示すの真実とは罪深き命。
And also the third ending.
ねえタク楽しかった？
That laugh was a bit unsettling. And I honestly expected another scene after the credits, where like Arimura's route, things before the credits would seem a little bit hopeful, but then the scene after the credits would twist it all on its head. Like Arimura sitting there with Takeru's corpse for 2 weeks, having gone totally insane. But I guess not. I guess this is Na's route to its end. I must say, I really like how both endings, and I'm just talking about the character endings now, they are so vastly different. But they both do a very good job of fleshing out the character. And I'm just quickly going to Can I just stop music for a bit so I can talk? I really like this route. I was really hoping that there would be a route that focused more on Kazuki, since I know in the common route, the first playthrough that I did, I was always wondering, why was Kazuki there? She was the one that never really contributed much to the main plot. She was always just there. This route was just, it was way funnier. It ended on a somewhat more hopeful note than I expected from this game, which you don't hear me complain. I honestly don't know what to say. I don't want to ramble on too much, but I love how these character arcs are both fleshing out the characters, but also they introduce more information about the main plot that act as puzzle pieces in order to puzzle the main storyline together, which I really, really like. I think it's really well balanced that way. And if I quickly check, we have now done, including the common route, 3 routes. Next time we're going for the third, what I think would be character route. And if I understand this correctly, there's the common route, then there are 5 different routes, and then there's the 2 ending route. So we've done 2 of the character routes. Or not, I'm a bit confused. No, there are 4 routes, but the next route we're going to do is a route that has 2 endings, and it is advised that we would do both endings of that route before moving on to the next one. And in order to get to the next route, we're going to have to watch all the negative delusions. So I'm not going to be looking forward to that, honestly. I remembered being scared the hell out from that jump scare from part 5. And now I have to go watch all the creepy negative delusions. There are also, of course, the bad endings. Common Route has a bad ending. Harimura's route has a bad ending. Kazuki's route has a bad ending. And the ones we are going to do next, that route has 4 bad endings. But I think, let me know what you prefer. I think it's best to do those bad endings after I've done all the character routes and just before the true ending. So that way, when we have done the true ending, we have probably completed the game 100% or close to it. Would that be a good idea? So I'm not going to ramble anymore since this video is already 1 hour and almost 15 minutes long. So, as always, thank you for watching. And tomorrow we will start a new route. Probably scary delusions. So I look forward to that.